Hello pilots and welcome to motionrc.com and our live show today, this beautiful Tuesday. So today we're going to be checking out the all new Black Horse models, gigantic ME109, BF109. It's going to be a lot of fun checking this out with you guys, and I can't wait to show it around to you. So before we get into it, there was something really cool that I just saw from one of our fellow customers. As we're getting guys in today, I wanted to share this with you. Victor Shamulus is doing the first SR71 full repaint. I want to give him a quick shout out though. Stick that on the screen, Lori. You guys look at this thing. He's doing a FedEx livery on it. I thought this was too cool not to show you guys while we were live today, but yeah, absolutely fantastic job, Victor. I saw him down in the chat. He sent me this just a few seconds ago. I was like, I'm getting ready to do the maiden. I was like, we got to show this off. So you guys, if you're getting SR71 still, look at what you can do to them. I actually have one setting off to my side right here that I am getting ready to do as an A12. So it's fun to start seeing some custom schemes trickling out here at motionrc.com. So yeah, as you're getting in today, make sure you leave it down in the comment section that you're here and hanging out with us. Let us know you're here. And we're going to start checking out this beautiful new airplane. So I'm going to give Lori a second to get the cameras rearranged. We're going to get over to actually unboxing this airplane. Now we're going to be running this on the recommended power supply and all the electronics from the kit. Now this is a fellow modeler's kit that was nice enough to let us use it to do the unboxing. So as he gets it built, I'm sure you're going to see us out at the field with him flying it. But he was like, hey man, take this airplane, show it to the customers, let everybody see what they're going to get if they get one of these. So I'm going to walk over here and we're going to start checking this thing out. So let's do it. Here we go. Ha! So first off, you can see this thing is a humongous box, almost as tall as me. Now, yeah, this is, I believe, 87 inches. I got to look on the website always to remember the exact size of the wingspan, but it's going to be using our Admiral GP60 12S. Super, super cool. But let's start opening this thing up and checking it out. So I'm going to lay this off to the side as we start getting it out, because this is a humongous, humongous box. Hi-ya. And I know you guys have told me in the past you really want to see unedited unboxings where you see exactly what you're going to get. Arrgh. And sometimes it's a lot easier to just take this auger box off, just like this. Hi-ya! Oh man, Black Horse makes some of the sweetest airplanes you are ever going to see, guys. But unboxing them by yourself can sometimes be a challenge. They're huge. Hi-ya! Grab that corner with me. There we go. I'm gonna let you take that off to the side. Boom! So here you go. Everything comes packaged very well inside of these. There's gonna be tape everywhere holding all these boxes in. What you need to do is take a razor knife and just be really careful as you're opening into these, not to accidentally cut your airplane as you're starting to check them out. Oh man, it's huge. Oh, there's nothing like the feeling of cracking open your first gigantic scale Balsa airplane. I cannot explain this enough to you, how awesome it is. Let's see here. There it is. Oh, look at that. Let's carry this over to the table real quick and start checking it out. Man, look at this thing, guys. It is huge. Oh, all right, we got to start unwrapping, right? Lori, we got any guys commenting? They thinking this is pretty cool?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And guys, I don't have an easy way to see the chat today, but I got Miss Lori behind there checking all your comments. If y'all got questions, let me know. We are live, so this is a great time to ask questions. You know, what kind of airplanes do y'all want to see in the Black Horse line of aircraft?
Let's see. Hangar 51 says hi.
What's up, Kenny? Welcome into the show today, sir.
John Peterson says hi. Victor says that with the shout out, not many liveries to choose from on that SR.
Yeah, Victor, nice job on that, man. Hey guys, I'm telling you, it takes a minute to unwrap one of these. Just take your time. You don't want to accidentally poke your airplane with your razor knife as you're getting it out.
Big guy says, is this not a foamy?
No, no foam today, sir. This is balsa and carbon fiber. Guys, we are quickly becoming one of the largest balsa distributors in the U.S. also. So if you haven't started checking out some of our balsa line of aircraft, it's a great time to do that. And it is growing immensely right now, our balsa lines. I would say our balsa line is growing faster than our foam ones, actually.
Sherman says that used to be huge.
Oh yeah, this is a humongous airplane. It's beautiful though. I've had my eye on this one for a long time. This one and the HE-111 that just hit the website a couple months ago. If y'all haven't seen that one, there's a giant scale HE-111 now also. I gotta make sure I don't lose these push rods that are in this bag. So here's some of your push rods right there in this bag too. This outer skin. Here's the throttle linkage. If you were to choose to go gas, this aircraft is set up to be gas powered or electric. It is up to the customer to choose. We do have both motor options available here at motionrc.com also. So we have the 60cc gas or the 60cc electric. Now, you guys know me, I'm an electric guy, so I'm going to be going electric. But for those who choose to, you could easily go gas.
You do have a question.
Okay.
Fiberglass or covering?
This is covering, and we're going to be looking at it in detail here in a second once I can get into it. You know, this is the anticipation of seeing that model the first time here. I got to find the end where it actually starts.
I think they usually start on the tail.
I think so too. Like I said, take your time, guys. Opening one of these for your first time. I tell you what, though, there's no better Christmas morning feeling than opening one of these. Oh, man. They come all weathered for you right out of the box, completely covered. They go together really simple. You know, if you've been kind of scared of doing a balsa airplane, don't be. I can't recommend it enough. They're so much fun. Think of it as like the best Lego kit you've ever built in your life. Because you're not building really. I mean, the build part's done of it. You're really just doing some really easy assemblies with these. That's the whole point, is all the hard stuff's been done for you. Holy cow, this is beautiful. Sorry, getting it out of the box and I'm seeing it now and I'm going, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. You know, I've got the P47, I've had the Zero across the table. This is right to the same scale as those. Same size even, and super impressive. Holy cow, look at this thing. Lori, I might get you set up on the other one to get us some zoom shots here. Starting with the good stuff right here. Now, the canopy won't be etched on any of the Black Horse models, actually, so you can detail out the cockpit if you choose so. And get Miss Lori ready. We're going to start checking this thing out in all its glory. There's the canopy. Oh, man, the cockpit detail on it is awesome. Come on over. All right, guys. So, yeah, let's take a look around now that I got this thing out of the box. Look at that paint job. You know, all of your nomenclatures are on the aircraft already, so right here, you know, you can take a look at that up close. All the details are right on it, right out of the box. Look at how beautiful these actually are when you get in here on them. You can see right there, all of your nomenclature, so your numbers, the rivets, the panel line detail, the weathering. This is all done for you right out of the box. Absolutely stunning model. These are truly some of the nicest ARF models available right now, and I'm hoping that it's coming across on film how nice this actually is. And it's huge, you know. That's the cool thing. We have all the parts you need right here at Motion RC to finish this. Yeah, so let me pop this off for a second. Let's see if we can get them a nice clean look inside this cockpit. Let's see, there you go. Look at the detail right out of the box. You've got that instrument panel in there. A little dark, not a lot I can do about that. Yeah, there's the details right out of the box. And of course, you can go crazier with this. That's why the canopy doesn't come installed. If you want to throw it together just like it is, you can. If you want to go crazy and do a lot more detail, you can also do that. Now, right here on top is also our canopy hatch. So if we pull this back, we can remove the canopy itself. And like I said, if you're doing electric, the nice thing with these is they leave you a ton of room to get inside, put your batteries and everything. And then let's see here, are we going that way or that way? There's that, yeah. Let's see if we can get some inside shots here of the model. So the cool thing with all these, it's kind of hard to see them because it's dark and black in there, but yeah, give us a bump. Oh yeah, perfect, there we go. So you can see this is balsa wood construction with carbon fiber sandwiched on the outsides of it. This really, really strengthened these up on the inside. You can see all the different trays in here. Good places to mount your receiver or your batteries for your receiver right here. You've got your servo mounts here for the tail. Up in here, this is where your batteries are going to end up living right here. But you can see you've got nice access. And this tray, so if you choose, you know, so you're going to put the batteries here, this tray would be in the way. This tray is actually just screwed on with 4 screws, so this tray can come out. This isn't structural. This is just for having it if you need that tray space. You know, gas guys aren't going to need to get down in here all the time, so we put a tray so you can mount batteries, whatever, right here. If you're running electric, you take the tray out. You've got room to put batteries right down in there. And then what you'll also notice is this is a sheeted aircraft. I'm trying to get a good way to show you this. So the skin right here is balsa, but then it's got an inlay of a weaved carbon, I would like to say like a composite backing on it. This makes this thing so strong versus just being just plain sheeted balsa. But yeah, anyway, there's that. Really good look inside of that. So if you haven't looked at any of these wood airplanes before, I really cannot recommend it enough. If you want the finest quality airplanes you can get, that's how you do it. So anyway, look at how good this is too. Look at the size. And I don't even have the rudder or the cowling on, remember, so this is going to get another probably foot longer. So pretty dang cool. Same thing you can see right there. There's a good shot of, actually, ta-da. Here we go. There's a good shot of what I was talking about earlier. So this is a balsa ply, but then it's got that weave glued over the outside of it, which really strengthens those up, as you can see.
So you do have a pretty good question here.
Okay.
Chris Wolfson here needed to answer it a little bit, but let's let you do it so everybody can hear it if they're not paying attention to comments. Sorry. Are these a lot harder to assemble than foamies?
Are they harder to assemble than foamies? A little bit, but it's nothing complicated, guys. So with a foamy, we're trying to develop that to be as fast as it can, right out of the box. You put a couple screws in it, you go fly. This one, some of the fun of wood aircraft is the joy of getting to put it together. I mean, really put it together. Now, yes, the motor mount bolts on, the motor is going to bolt on, depending on what motor you use. We're trying to do where if you buy the motor that's recommended on the website, it's going to bolt onto the front of these aircraft. Now, we're working through a lot of those. Sometimes you will maybe have to drill a hole here or there. If your motor mount doesn't quite fit up right, you may have to drill a little hole, get that to fit just right, especially if you're using a different motor. The fun with wood aircraft is you don't have to use what we tell you. You can, but if you choose that you want to use a different servo, a different motor, whatever, the cool thing with wood is you can make it happen. Now, as far as assembling goes, it's not bad. I mean, most of the stuff is done for you. There's a slot right here in the tail where you're going to have to cut out to put the tail on. You got to glue the tail in. Wool blown out. You know, it's not difficult. It just takes time is what I'd say. Don't go into one of these thinking you're going to put it together as fast as a foam aircraft. This airplane right here, you know, give yourself probably 2 weeks to put this airplane together, working on the evenings, just enjoying yourself. That's half of the fun of wood aircraft is building them. And then when you get done and you go out to fly it the first time, you get that sense of accomplishment of putting something together like this that you just don't get as much with the foam airplanes, I'd say. They're still fun. If you're just into throw them together, go out and fly them, foam's a great thing. But if you're wanting to go to the next level in your hobby, this is your next step. And you don't have to start with one this big either. We have them from like 40 inches up to gigantic 120-inch stuff. But you know, pick what you're comfortable with. All these aircraft are designed to come apart easy, go into your car. You know, I can get this in the back of my wife's Ford Flex, no issue. But you know, there's going to be guys that maybe don't have as big a car, so we have stuff to really go to anything you want. The other cool thing with wood airplanes, outside of the foam world, is we get to make such different aircraft. You know, this aircraft in general. Has it ever been done in foam? Yes. It's not one on the market right now, and never one to this size. But in wood, we get to make such cooler airplanes that are different and unique. And that's kind of the fun thing. When you start looking into this realm, you're going to get to open your possibilities of what kind of airplanes you can do. There's so many different ones out there in this size. So anyway, not to get too far down the rabbit hole, we'll keep checking out some more of the airplane. But yeah, if you got any more questions, that's what I'm here for right now. Let's talk about this stuff. Oh, Lori says we got another one real quick.
Real quick, while you're still on the assembly, same guy, same area, but what glues would you use to assemble? Because, you know, like foam aircraft, you use that.
So
cement.
Let me preference this with, I'm actually planning on sitting down with Chris, and we're going to make a video kind of about what products you may need before you start your wood aircraft. We're getting really ready to kind of ramp up on these things, and we want to make a video that's going to be, what kind of tools do you need to really do this? What types of glues and other materials, and I think we're going to have a lot of those questions answered at a later date. But for now, you definitely need you some thin CA. That's going to be your friend when you're building aircraft. I would recommend 30-minute epoxy if you're only going to get one epoxy to start with, to glue on your elevators and that kind of thing. Your hinges need to be put on with epoxy. And if you're kind of curious about what it takes to put one of these together, we have full build videos of balsa aircraft on this channel. It may not be this exact airplane or the one you're building, but the cool thing is the principles are the same no matter what Black Horse airplane you do. So James has done a full assembly series from whenever he put together the OV-10 from Nexa. I've done a complete overview and assembly video on the Nexa Tri-Pacer. So if you're curious about what it takes to put one of these together, go watch either one of those videos right now. They're available here on the channel. Of course, after we get done playing today, because you're watching with me today. But yeah, we have covered it in the past, but we do plan on covering it in a lot more detail. Any other things before we get going? Okay, guys, I'm going to have Lori turn it back to the box. Let's get the next component out. I'm going to set this off to the side here so we don't accidentally tear it up as we keep going. But yeah, good questions, everybody. Having fun today. All right, here we go. Back down to our ugly floor shot. that's just kind of how this goes. So I'm going to pop some of these boxes out real quick and get them out of the way. Everything's very securely taped. We'll check this out here in a minute. This is just a box right now. It's got a bunch, probably our landing gear in that one. Because these come with a lot of the components and hardware you're going to need. The whole goal with these kits is that you don't have to buy much other than your electronics extra. You get all your control linkages, screws, motor mounts. Got some good staples on that one. Lots of little boxes here. Let's see. Pilot's going to be in here somewhere. I'm going to get all these boxes out. We're going to open those separately out on the table. It's like mini Christmas when you get a balsa airplane because you get so many boxes to play with. I mean, we got our own UPS store going on in here. All right. Manual. Good balsa airplane's always going to come with a good manual. Cannot stress that enough. You got a little bit more to them, like I said, than a normal manual, but nothing to it. All right. Here we go. Last box. We're ready to go back to the other one, Lori, after I come over. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, that gets everything out of that giant box. Make it where I can walk in here. If you open one of these in your kitchen table, your wife's going to probably kill you, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Who knows? Maybe you'll have a crazy one like mine that enjoys it with you. So let's see. This should probably be our wings and possibly our tail. But it's a surprise for me also. But I put enough of these together to usually be able to guess the components pretty good. Yep, wings and tail. All right, so let's start getting them out. Once again, right now, a lot of this stuff is taped together so it doesn't bounce going down the road, but be careful with your X-Acto knife. I can't stress this enough. I've done it. Do not cut your airplane. Take your time in the excitement. All right, what's up?
Someone's asking, will you be flying one of these soon?
Well, hopefully we're flying this one soon. So the goal is we want to have this airplane ready for the Frank Tiano all-scale fly-in. It's an event I go to every year and compete in. Now, this is not my airplane. This is actually a customer's airplane. So it's going to depend how fast that customer assembles this aircraft. I have some other aircraft that I plan on entering into that. And then I'm also getting ready to start another build with you guys. That's going to be a lot of fun. I have the Nexa stick. So I know we have a lot of guys asking about, you know, how hard is it to put these together and where should I start kind of thing. I've got a kit right over there we're going to do together over the next few weeks called the Nexa stick. It's just a very simple aircraft. It's in the box right now. We're going to be doing the unboxing and everything. But that aircraft is a great place to jump off and start with to lead yourself into something like this. Now hopefully I answered the question there. I got sidetracked a little bit. Trying to get all this stuff out as gently as possible. ASMR. Plastic action. Yeah. The hard part here is, like I said, they tape. I'm pretty sure they use an entire roll of tape to put these airplanes in these boxes, which is a good thing because I've actually never seen one come damaged yet that I've got. But you just got to take your time. This is our wing spars. So let's see. Yeah, there's your main wing spar. And this is probably your rear wing spar. And there's probably one for the tail. Yep, right there. Just like I said, I've built enough of these Black Horse planes now to kind of know how they work. And there's your last spar. This is probably for your elevator. Now, I'm not assembling the airplane today. Like I said, this is a several-week project to put one of these together, but I want to show you what it actually looks like when you get one out of the box, how beautiful these airplanes are. And here is one of our wings. Oh, baby. Now, for any of you that actually have got a few of our Black Horse models, this one's very equivalent size to the Zero or the P47 or the Corsair. This is right in that same line of models. So we have some really nice models in this size range from Black Horse now that if you got a couple buddies at the field looking for something really sweet to start moving up to, ain't nothing like flying these in a group. I'm telling you right now, I've done it. Nothing compares to it. All right, so I know what these are. These are your swastika decals, although can't do swastikas, so this is your simulated one. It is a German aircraft, so sorry, it is what it is. Our other wing right here. They don't come installed on the aircraft though if you choose not to fly with them. The decal, yeah, the swastika decal. So that's up to the customer if they choose to fly with them or not. They do come in the box though.
You're pulling out the wings. I'm like,
right.
You kind of need
no, the wing's just the big X's. So we're going to check that out next. The wings. So yeah, hopefully I think everybody's still good right now. Yeah, let's start popping open a wing. You know what? This is pretty tight stuff. I don't want to accidentally cut it. Sometimes it's better to switch to scissors. Let's do that now. Oh man, these Black Horse planes just blow me away every time I see them. I know I do this all the time, guys, and this is my job, but I still love it. And seeing these, this is, like I said, the pinnacle of RC. I've been doing this since I was 13, and I would drool over the AMA magazines and all the different distributors back in the day that made these giant planes. I was like, I'll never be able to get those giant things. And now seeing them here in person, man, they still blow me away to this day how good these actually are getting. So yeah, let's take a peek at this one, get some up close. I'll just leave it setting right there. Let Lori check this one out. Look at the quality of these guys. And I've done really well with these out in the sun also. So what you'll notice if you leave one of these Black Horses setting in the sun, you might get a little bit of bubbling, but as soon as you bring it back in the shade and get it cooled off, they usually shrink right up to flat again. I'll have to get you some of the planes I've got out. I've been flying some of these upwards of 3 years now at shows and everything, and they've been rained on and all kinds of things, and they've really held up well. Now, speaking of raining, you do want to try and keep this from getting rained on. It's hard sometimes at an event. I was at Joe Nall a few years back, and my P47 got rained on. You can start to see some of the water has done some things on some of those, but for the most part, these have held out extremely well. I've also seen some guys like to take and put clear coat over this. So, funny enough, just like our foam guys that we were talking about sometimes like to put like Minwax over the top of their airplanes. I've seen guys actually seal these with the same product because this is kind of like a paper porous material. If you'll take right out of the box like this and roll on like Minwax flat, it actually really makes this look pretty darn sharp, and it seals it all up really well, so if you do get water and things on it, you can. The other thing I like to recommend when you have one of these is the way you clean it. Don't use anything that is going to take this off. So isopropyl alcohol, don't get this nowhere near this covering. Isopropyl alcohol will take this right off. I mean, down to the white underneath. Yeah, right here. Lori's going to hand me it. This is what I really like for these airplanes. You can get this on Amazon or anywhere. This is spray away glass cleaner. There's no ammonia in this, and it really works well to clean these without taking the finish off and keep it protected. So I know it's a little bit off topic here, but this is the thing I really want to tell you, stress this enough. Don't clean this with the wrong thing. If you use the wrong kind of chemicals, you will take this finish right off of it. And that's where that seal coat sometimes will help protect that. But let's take a look around the wing again. Let me flip it up now. We'll see the bottom of it. So I've also done the Black Horse Storch and the smaller HE-111. I can say this is the same color as the bottom of those two German aircraft. I'm going to turn that over to Lori so she can kind of take you guys for a cruise here in a second. I do like that yellow wingtip also. It's going to make it very visible and easy to see once it's up in the air. There you go. That's all right, yeah. Let's take them for a little ride in here. Now what you can see here, let's see, finger is right here. Here's one of our access hatches. Now, I believe these are going to be internal hinges. Looking at the way it's designed, let me take one open for a second. I'll tell you for sure. Yep, this looks like internal servo linkages. So the nice thing is you're not going to have arms on the outside. This is your servo pocket, and what you'll see is there's a string right there glued in, right out of the box. What this is for is so when you go to pull your servo and your extension through, you tie them onto this string, you pull this off of the glue, tie it onto your servo, and then you can pull that all the way down the wing channel. So you don't have to try and fish this through with a wire or anything. It's already done for you right out of the box when they assemble the aircraft. And then all you do, like I said, tie your servo lead on there and pull it through, and that gets your servos into the wings. But there's the pockets. They're going to come with screws that are going to mount these to this. You can see they're all cut out for you and finished out really nicely too. There you go. So there's one of the pockets, and that's going to be an internal hinge, so that hinge actually comes out right here and actually hits that inside of here. So pretty neat. Actually, I take that back. There's the hole right there. You can normally find the holes just by feeling them. I know you're probably not going to be able to see this right now. There's an access hole right there. You see me pushing it in? It's right there. So this is going to get cut out, and this is where your hinge line is going to come out of that and hit right here in the control horse surface. Still nice because you don't have the whole gigantic horn out here. You're only going to have that little tiny section that pokes out right there. Pretty neat. Keeps it nice and clean. Let's see, I'll untape the flaps for a second here. Some of them have barn door flaps, Fowler flaps. It all depends on the aircraft. They tape all these up to keep them from flapping around during shipping because these are also probably not glued in. Most of the time, the hinges come pre-cut for you, but you do still need to actually attach them. Hang on, I'm pulling all the tape off, but we'll check these control surfaces out. So, there is your pocketed flap. Oh, yep, the hinges are there, but they are not actually glued in yet. But you can see the nice thing with this, see how they actually did a different color, so when the flap's out you're gonna have that nice color difference. Isn't that cool looking? So the cool thing, when it goes up and it actually closes in there, that little piece disappears, as you can see, and then as it would roll out you'd have that nice finished in there. Now yes, most of these you do have to attach yourself. It's no big deal. Like I said, we've actually done a video on this. It's going to come with the hinges that go right here in the front, and that thing clips in there. It's not bad. There's a quick shot of that too. How cool is that? That internal structure's all painted. You know, a lot of times other manufacturers, this might just be wood colored, but in this it's all been painted. This is actually paint in here to make it look really clean and nice. Really overall adds a lot of detail to the models when they're finished, having those little details like that inside of there. That's how a real one looks too. They have that all, oh, wrong way. There you go. Ah, nice, Lori.
It was looking really dark.
Isn't that nice looking how they paint everything right out of the box too, so you don't have to worry about that internal structures even the same color. So if you get a glimpse of it or in a picture, really adds a lot to the model. All right. We'll move on to the next part. I'm going to slide this all together. I won't be undoing all these here in a minute. I'm going to actually just set this off to the side. I don't want to accidentally lose any of those components though.
Someone just asked, does it have nav lights?
I don't think this one does. No. Some of the Black Horse models do have the nav lights. I know the P47 has the cutout where you can add them. The Zero had that. I believe the Corsair has the nav light section, but this aircraft in particular does not have it. Now that being said, once again, it's a balsa aircraft. You're putting all the electronics in it. If you want, string a light out to the wingtip, mount it in there, and you could have them. It's all up to you on this, because this is a kit. When you're doing an ARF kit, make it the airplane you've always dreamed of. So if you want to put nav lights on it, you can easily, and it's huge, so you can easily reach your hand inside, go back to the back there, and put a nav light on the top of it easily. You drill a hole, put the nav light in, wire it up. You could do it. I know when James built the P-47, he put nav lights in it. He got him a nav light kit and put them in there. The other cool thing, how many of you guys have a crashed foamy laying around that has lights in it? Pull the lights out of that, use them in one of these. If it's too short, cut the wire, splice a little bit into it, add it out to the wing. Use some of your old electronics when you're building one of these. Now, you're not going to use free-wing servos in a plane this size, but a lighting package easily could be moved over to this out of one of your free-wing aircraft. No issue at all.
Jameson says you're looking fancy in your new
I like that.
swag.
Got me some new threads. Thought it was pretty good. Little company here in good old USA made these for me. I had a little company in Lakeland make these, and they did a great job. You guys like them enough, maybe we can eventually get some of these here. I know we're working on some motion swag. There is the other wing half, though. Once again, fully, oh, you know what? I take it back. There is a spot for lights. Now let's take it in here since somebody was asking. Now, they do not come in the kit. I want to make that very specific before we do this. But I'm going to let Lori get in on it right there. She's going to get it switched over for you. So, if I really had to guess, I'm going to look here in a second. I've seen this before. So, there is a cutout right here for a nav light. It's hollow, so I have a feeling there's going to be a hole behind this. And I also have a feeling if I open this panel up, I bet you there's already a string out there to it. Oh, it's hard to tell. Zoom out a little bit. I want them to see me a shot of me juggling it. Let me look inside and see if there's a string out there for you already. Okay, no string out to the wingtip yet, but there is a channel designed for that wire to run in inside the aircraft. So you can put a nav light in this one very simply. Yes. Lori's laughing, so somebody said something silly.
Don't let him tell you how to run the camera, Lori.
Don't let Wes tell you how to run the camera. That's right. So yes, that is the nav spot. Also right here, I could have showed this a little better on there. This is another one of those things that's a little bit different from your foam aircraft when you get one. So if you'll look right here, see how this is like a trampoline right here? This is where your landing gear is. And when you go to do this, you can feel it. There's your hard edge. And you're going to run an X-Acto knife, brand new. This is the key. Brand new X-Acto knife, and you just run it right around the outside edge, and you can cut that out so easily. But yes, when they cover it, they cover right over the openings for the gear, and you just kind of cut that out and fold it around. That's where your landing gear go. This is your access hatch for the landing gear. But you can easily do this. Like I said, I've done this in some of our other videos. You can feel it though. This is all hollow underneath it because the entire rest of the airplane is sheeted. Hear it? You can hear the difference. I don't know if y'all can hear that through the microphone or not, but anyway, that's some of the there's a few places you got to cut. You're going to do this, and you got to cut some covering around the tail. So, yeah, anyway. Beautiful, though, so far. Absolutely stunning aircraft. All right. And we may try and dry fit it a little bit here in a minute just to get an overall size. These are going to be our elevator halves. Let me get my knife back out. Benchcraft X-Acto knife. Plug, plug, cough, cough.
Are the landing gear included in the kit?
Yes, they should be. We haven't got there yet, but I believe we'll be getting to the landing gear momentarily. I believe they're in that box right there. We'll check those out next, actually. That's going to be a really cool component. We're just going to get these last few pieces out real fast. We won't spend too much time on the elevators, the wings and stuff. They're built the same way, but here's your elevator half. Oop. There. So there you go. Got the counterbalances made into the outside of it, just like the real aircraft. That's what those are. Those are counterweights on the real plane. These are pre-hinged for you, but they are not glued, so if we want to pull them apart, we can. You can see the hinges are already, here, look at this. There you go. There's your hinges already pre-installed in there, but they do need to be epoxied in there. I like 30-minute epoxy. Normally you put a little bit of drop of oil on the actual hinge itself right in the middle, then epoxy on both ends, shove them in there, and that's what actually makes that hinge. The elevators do bolt on instead of gluing on, so that's going to be a nice thing if you have to take these off for transport. These are bolted on. You've got your pin there, and then this is where your smaller carbon rod goes. Not carbon, aluminum rod, which I had a minute ago. I don't know what I did with them.
I think it's back behind
Yeah,
everything.
anyway. Grab the other ones real quick. Okay, Lori said we have a question while I'm unboxing. We'll answer that next question.
Yeah, kind of going back to where you were with the landing gear holes. Someone said that you have to re-glue and re-stretch the covering after you cut the holes out.
No. Okay, so I'm not, did you have your microphone off?
You cut it on.
Okay, cool. So people heard the question. Nice. So to answer his question, do you need to stretch and redo the covering? No. Whenever I've done that, it has actually not shrank up. I like to cut just a hair bit bigger and roll it around the edge. That way, if there is some shrinkage, it can expand and contract. But this stuff really hasn't had that kind of issue of expanding and contracting like you're used to. I think a lot of guys are thinking of the more plastic, monocoat style covering. This is more of a, it's literally like a sticky paper, is how I'd explain it. And the funny thing with repairing this that I've seen, most guys repair this by sanding it and scuffing it and then just painting it, like using your airbrush and color matching and painting it instead of covering it. Because this stuff takes paint really, really well. So yeah, weathering and stuff on this, if you want to go a little further, you can paint right over top of this stuff. It takes primer and everything perfectly. So yeah, I've actually seen guys repaint these and make them look gorgeous. The other cool thing you can do to one of these, if you want to go to that next level again, you could actually go in before you paint anything, put your glue drop rivets. You take Elmer's glue in a pipette and you put glue rivets on there, and then just spray paint right over top of this stuff, and it actually looks pretty dang sweet. You get a real composite look. So the right way to do it, if you want to just go over the covering and don't want to strip the airplane and you want to go for like the most hard, awesome paint job you've ever done, 4 layers of Minwax, sand in between them to get that perfect smooth finish. Put your glue drop rivets and then paint over top of it, and you would have one heck of a sweet paint job, but it's a lot of work.
While you've got the elevators there,
Mm-hmm.
do the servos for the elevators sit in the elevator or in the plane?
I believe they're pocketed in the plane. Hang on one second. Can't tell right now because they're not cut out, but I got the manual right here in front of us. And we could even maybe get that in the shot over there to answer that here in a second. Let me find that page for you, though, where the elevator halves are going on. Hard to tell right now because I haven't cut them out, and like I said, this is my first time actually seeing this exact airplane in person. Okay, so the elevator halves have the servos pocketed right there. Okay, cool. So, here we go. And give you a quick shot of the El Manuel. It may be out of focus a little bit as Lori gets it adjusted.
There we go.
Is it in focus right now? It's hard to tell from here.
Yeah, I think that was...
Okay, cool. So yeah, your servos are actually mounted inside of the elevator halves. and they poke up out of it. And to show you on here, there's your servo pocket, and this right here is actually the covering spot that gets cut out right there. Which I don't know if there's actually a picture of it getting installed in here. Yep, there it is. Aha, right there. Oh, yeah, bring me back. There you go. So just as it shows there, your servo mounts inside and then sticks up through the bottom of the elevator tab. Pretty cool. All right, bring us back, Lori. All right, last piece will be the rudder. Before we get into some of the auxiliary components, now I may not open every single bag because I don't want to lose parts when we get down to the little nuts and bolts parts of the kit, but I do want to show you the landing gear and some other parts too, because you do get a ton of hardware in one of these kits. Excuse me on my sniffly nose today too. Been fighting that for 2 weeks. There's our rudder. Okay, Christmas time. Let's grab another box. This is too light to be landing gear. I don't know what this one is. Maybe a cowling? Life is like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get. Okay, what are these? Bombs? Missiles? What kind of components do we have here? Okay, so we have a skid for the bottom of the aircraft. This is going to be a drop tank. Most of these Black Horse aircraft do come with armament right out of the box too. Let me slide that over so it's, nope. There we go. If she wants to use that tight shot too. So yeah, there we go. Nash and tat. Get in there on our components here. This is going to be our drop tank for the aircraft though. P-47 came with bombs and drop pods and things too. The Zero had a center line drop tank. It looks like this one does also. Nice thing is it does come with these mounts. They're normally set up kind of like a servo horn that you glue into the actual fuselage, and then if you want to take these off, you've got the 4 screws around the bottom of it to take them off. So there's your drop tank, center line drop tank. Once again, it's an ARF, so choose whether or not you want to use this. If you don't want the holes on the bottom of the aircraft for the drop tank even, just leave it clean, you can. But if you do want one, it comes in the kit. And I love that it's also weathered, just like the other parts of the aircraft. That's fine. Let's see, we got our pilot now. Now, once again, this is maybe not the best part. This is a good place to upgrade if you choose to, and that's the cool thing. If you're happy with it, you can stick with this one. If you wanted, you could upgrade also to a different model for your kit. And there's a lot of really cool companies out there right now making scale pilot figures for these larger Black Horse aircraft. So if you're wanting it, what's that? We have other options. We have other options now too. I forget that. We did. We brought in a full line of pilot figures and tanker accessories and things too. But if you choose to use this, I've used this same guy in a bunch of our aircraft. Let's see, Lori's adjusting something there. I was going to have it over here. Yep. I'm going to let her get switched over real quick and we'll take a look at that. While she's doing that, I'll just open the next component and then we'll go through them all at the same time. I believe these are your radiators for the bottom of the wings. Getting into the nitty gritties. Yep, these are going to be your radiator scoops for the bottom of the 109. There we go. But yeah, let's go over there. There we go. Check out our pilot figure. He does look pretty good. One thing that really makes these guys look like a million times better, if you take it out of the box and hit this guy with a dull coat, see how his clothing's really shiny? One thing that I love to do to these guys right out of the box is take, what is that? The Rust-Oleum's Time 2 Matte Clear. You hit this guy with that stuff, and he looks so much more realistic instantly if you do that. The other cool thing is after you do that and it dries, you take and put a wash over him, like a black wash. It just really adds a lot of stuff to him. But yeah, Arrgh! He's coming to get us. Ah! Oh wait, I forgot, he's German. Sie sprechen Sie Deutsch. Nine! This isn't the kit you're looking for. There's the pilot figure that comes in it. Like I said, the rads for the bottom of the wings, and these just glue on there.
He doesn't look German.
Doesn't look German, that's right. So yeah, there's your scoops for the bottom of the wings. If you want to make them actually cut out, you could right there. But I'll probably leave them just as they are, so they're not just big scoops in the wings doing nothing. And just paint them black. And then this should be, I believe, your drop tank mount that actually goes to the fuselage. Let me open it up and confirm that, but I think that's what this is. Yep, that's what this is. So there you go. Drop tank mount for the fuselage. So this is what your tank's actually going to mount up to underneath it, so like that. So, and it's got some little parts that are going to go between there and there, but that's your drop tank mount for the fuselage. Pretty sweet. All right, next box of components. I'm going to put these guys, oh, I missed one. There's your side scoop. This is cool. This is on, you know, almost all Messerschmitt 109s and variants. This is the radiator intake scoop for the side of the aircraft. This is always a very distinctive feature of a 109, so cool that it's in here. I'll pull it out and show you. You could either glue or screw this onto the side of the aircraft. There you go. There's your radiator scoop. I will probably end up cutting this out because I see there is air inlets here, and this will only work as an actual functioning scoop if we do this. So I like to take and Dremel stuff out like this. That'll actually scoop air into the aircraft if we do that. Now, you don't have to. You could leave it solid. Once again, fun of balsa, modification. Go into this thinking it's a kit. What can I do to make my kit better and better and better? That's half of the fun of this, you know? So anyway, cool. So I'm gonna put these scoops and things back in this box. Try and keep from losing components as we go along here, because this does still have to get put together eventually. All right. Oh, yep. Come on, Hans. Hans and Franz. All right. There's one we've done. This is probably the cowling. Let's take a look at that. You guys enjoying today's show? A little different setup here. Haven't done a live in a while. It's been kind of fun hanging out with everybody, answering some questions.
We've got like 81 people watching.
Nice, guys.
The comments are very slow, so they're paying very close attention
right.
to what you're doing. It's kind of fun.
Well, guys, if y'all are joining us today, like I said, thank you so much. I hope that this is very informative for you. Like I said, we're going to be really ramping up on some more balsa content coming up. And if you have been on the fence about trying one, jump off, man. It's one of the best things you'll ever do is switching over and making some of this stuff. It's a blast. Okay, so here we go, some components. All right, there we go. So let's unwrap the cowling. Ooh. Man, look at that. Nice fiberglass cowl. This down here is your details for your engine exhaust. Here are your actual exhaust tips. So these are going to need to be glued on individually. These are resin printed, so that gives them that nice look of that plastic finish. Like I said, that resin printed stuff. Here, hang on, I'll show you. I'll pop these open real quick. I don't need to get them all out, but these are resin printed exhaust. And these will glue in like that right there. Had to put them in the right way. Yeah, and they're going to stand up just a little bit off of the cowling once you put them on there. But this gives it a really nice detailed look. And like I said, these are resin printed. They feel really good in the hand. They're not going to break easily because they're hard plastic. Pretty sweet. And here in a second, we'll hold this up on the aircraft and check it out. But you can see at the factory also, these are all airbrushed. There you go. So they actually airbrush these. There's a stencil outline of it, so they make sure these all look the same. But there you go. That's all airbrushed on there. Very clean lines. Paint jobs on these Black Horse aircraft always turn out so nice. So nice to see it. You can see that there's hopefully coming across on the yellow. There's some grungy dirtiness flowing to it too. They always try and make these look weathered and wore out right out of the box, just like a real World War II aircraft. So pretty cool. Here's your gun detail on the top of the cowling. Very nice. Some air scoops there, actual functioning air scoops on the side of the cowling. So you got to think there's a spinner out here blocking all your air. So your air is going to come in from here and those functioning scoops on the sides of the canopy to get cooling into your ESC and your motor, because the ESC and the motor is going to be mounted inside of here. So you always got to get cooling inside of here. That big old spinner keeps that from happening. So that's where all your functioning scoops will come in. All right. And we'll set this on the aircraft here a minute, maybe get a look of it pieced together a little bit. All right, that was probably loud. All right, next component. I have no idea. This one's a little box. Da-na-na-na. Look at that, ASMR cutting. Okay, this is our engine mounts. So depending on if you're using the gas or the electric motor, this is going to be our gas mount. I wonder where our electric one is. Let me look for that one real quick. That one's too heavy. This might be it right here. Let me see if I can find the other one before we unwrap that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. So you got multiple different options. So this is the cool thing here. Here we go. So I better not throw that away. Depending on what motor setup you're going to use on this aircraft, this is the cool thing with these Black Horse models. I've seen this on several of them now. The Corsair, P-47, a bunch of these same size aircraft they do this in. I'm going to unwrap a couple of these real quick to show you this. All right, cool. Get that one out, and we'll pick this one too.
There is someone in the chat right now getting ready to repaint his. He's got one of these. He's getting ready to repaint it in the winter camo. Winter
camo, nice. Like I said, you want something cool.
Scale wheels.
Nice. Like I said, if you want a good way to do it, like I said, polyurethane, seal it before you paint it, and it'll make it a lot smoother. So just to show you though, this is pretty cool. Okay, so you've got different motor mounts for this airplane right out of the box. You can see this is a long one, and this has got a section where your batteries can go up inside of this actual mount. There we go, cool, yeah, over here, I love it. So we've got right here, this part of the fuselage is hollow on most of these aircraft. So if you got to put two batteries further forward to get CG, you can put this one on. You've got your mount further out, and it makes it easier to get it in there. But these bolt on the front. So we've got this size motor mount. We've got this size motor mount. So depending on what motor you're using, you have a lot of different options to get you as close as possible. You know, if you're running a big gas motor, you need that motor mount further in. That's why you got the shorter ones. Also, you got the weight of that giant gas motor out there. Whereas on the electrics, the motors are a lot shorter. So you need this length to get it out there. There's the 3 motor mounts right there. And they're all the same here because you bolt them on. Let's see, I got this one upside down. There we go. Now they're all the same. Ta-da. So you got a bunch of different options. And the other cool thing, I don't know if it's going to come across on there, but they actually have the right and the down thrust line built into them. So when you mount your motor flat to this plate, you have the correct thrust angle. And then you also have, there's 4 lines here. They're kind of hard to see. They're laser etched into it, but that's so you can line up your actual motor plate. You hit those 4 lines, and that makes sure you're right in the middle. There you go. Because your motor needs to be directly in the middle of that crosshair. So you line up all 4 of your bolts on those when you drill it into this. See, they're not pre-drilled. So whatever motor you're putting on here, you find your correct spacing, and then you drill it straight to this plate. But it needs to be right in the middle of that thrust line. So anyway, just to show you that. And they're all like that. And these are also composite reinforced. So as you can see, you've got the black carbon on all this. This front piece here actually has, what do you call it? Fiberglass. This is a fiberglass piece of wood up here on the front too. So that's also for fuel proofing, because if you're running gas, you need to have fuel proof internals. Cool. Next box. We're getting close, guys. Almost to the end. Like I said, I may slide the cowling on it and stuff just so we can get a kind of rough size, but rather large airplane, and I don't want to fumble and drop it right now either trying to do this. This is probably retracts now. Let's see. Gigantic spinner. Gotta check that out. Nice scale. Oh yeah. Man. Oh. Lori, give me the other one. Oh, look at that. Machined aluminum chunk right there. That is a solid piece of aluminum. The actual spinner is plastic, but man, I'm telling you what, this is one good looking spinner. Quality wise, it bolts together right here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, gets the nose cap off. Man, that is a nice looking spinner. This might be one of the nicest spinners I've seen on any of the ARFs so far out of the box. This thing is impressive looking. I like that solid piece of aluminum cut out too. That's nice. So anyway, there's your spinner that comes right in the box, so you don't have to buy that. Most of the components, like I said, you're going to get with this, aside from servos, motor, and ESC, and some servo extensions. That's really all you really need to add. Prop, yeah, you got to buy the prop. If you're going gas tank, straps, petcocks, vents, all inside the box. Nice little tank. You got battery straps if you're going to do batteries. Here we go. I can show it right there, I guess. But yeah, there's your petcock, some fuel line. You've got your vents, your caps. It's all machined. This is actually really nice quality stuff. The other cool thing when you're building one of these balsa planes from Black Horse, the stuff you actually get is really nice. It's anodized aluminum components. Look at this, check it out. Just to show you some of the fittings you get if you are going to go gas. There's your fuel filter and clunk right out of the box. There's a wrench, which I think is to put the tank together with. But look at these, anodized aluminum fittings. Really nice, actually, components. Some zip ties and such. Here's some fuel tubing. Let me pull that out. So, some fuel tubing. I just dropped an O-ring. There's your cap for your gas tank. Like I said, all machined aluminum and anodized. So anyway, I'm gonna put all this back in the box. Because although I am not a gas guy, I know a lot of guys are. So it's good quality stuff that comes in these kits though. I'll put that all back in here. And then, what do you do with gas stuff? Yeet! No, I'm just kidding. Won't do that. I'm not gonna open all this, but I'll tell you what it is. I'll open the bags and show you them, but I'm not going to open them individually. So this is going to be your actual components for putting the aircraft together. So as you can see, accessory bag. This is the tail wheel assembly screw kit. So they're all nicely labeled. This is the cool thing. When you start pulling all your components out to put this together, they're going to be labeled. So there's all the components right there for your tail wheel. Accessories for your main gear doors. Look at this, all labeled up. So you know exactly what component bag to go to. That's why I'm not going to open all these. You know, here you go. This is your flaps and your hinges for the flaps. So you can see right there, flap hinges. I love that they label these now. This is amazing to me. Fuselage and cowling. There you go. This makes assembly so much easier when it's laid out like this. At the beginning, they didn't do this. This is a newer thing. Having all these components labeled like this is, I cannot tell you how much nicer this is when you get a kit with all the components and you know right where they go because they're labeled. This is a huge, huge step forward on that. There you go. Accessories for the engine. These are your motor standoffs and bolts. Like I said, you get all the hardware you're going to need to put this airplane together. Battery straps. Your aileron hinges. And all the bolts and components to actually bolt your servos in. More hinges. You know, it's all of it. It's all going to be done. For vertical stabilizer, so your rudder, motor mounts. There you go. This is the parts that actually bolts the mounts to the aircraft. These are going to be your wings, I think. Electric retract main pins. There you go. These are for the gear to actually mount to. Speaking of which, there's the wheels. So they are not soft rubber. I know a lot of guys are going to ask this. None of the ARFs from Black Horse have squishy tires. These are all going to be hard foam, which is actually kind of nice because they kind of bounce across the ground instead of grabbing. So the bad thing about a rubber tire is if you have a bad landing and there's any side load, instead of it sliding like this, they grab and they rip your gear. So I kind of like these actually. They're a little noisy, but especially with this aircraft in particular, landings can be a little exciting because it's very narrow landing gear. Spitfire was the same way. They're wind sensitive as far as their landings. This is your CG tablet. This actually bolts in between the wing and the fuselage, and then it has a rope that ties onto it, and you pick the entire aircraft up from these. And that is actually how you CG this aircraft. There's the rope and the handle, and then like I said, these bolt into the actual wing bolts for CG, and you literally just pick the aircraft up. If it balances, you've got it right. If it tips backwards, you know you need to nose weight. Really nice way to do that. These airplanes are getting huge, so it's really hard to balance these on your fingers. Something you may not think about all the time, but yeah, this is the way you CG these aircraft. Let's see, this is your removable battery tray. I love it. This is another upgrade from the past, which we were doing these. My dad actually designed some of these and put them in some of the other models, but now, look at that, right out of the box, they've got it. So this is your battery tray. You push this down, it locks into the nose. You put this down, and then you put the screw in, and that's what holds your batteries in. So if you need to make it where you can take your battery in and out, now you can. This is a firewall for the, and it tells you right on here. So like I said, this one's for a DLE 55cc to 61cc. So if you got a DLE engine, use this plate. It's going to be marked on here for a bunch of other ones too. But yeah, really well thought out on those. Last one, I think I finally found the landing gear. I said I was going to unbox them next, like forever ago, and I kept opening the wrong boxes. So here they are. This is going to be the landing gear. I can feel it. I hope so. It's the only thing left. I think I've seen everything other than that. Yep, this is the landing gear. Here we go. Well, we saved them for the end instead. All right, so here's your wheel pant doors and the gigantic, beefy landing gear for this airplane. I will say the quality of the Black Horse retracts have only gotten better and better and better and better. And they actually got another revision here, oh, not too long ago, and these latest versions of the Retracts have been pretty bulletproof. Yeah. Holy cow. Now look at this thing. All right. Holy cow, right? Suspension, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to push this or not. Yep, suspension. They're good ones. Here is your actual Retract servo-driven unit. I tell you what, these things are just full aluminum. When you feel one of these in your hand, they feel like quality. These used to be a different type of material. They've gone to brass now. That's actually helped a lot right in there on your actual servo mount. Pretty darn cool though. I love these Black Horse Retracts. Of course, you have this end here that's going to go out to your Retract controller. These are normally powered separately, and this is probably the Retract controller right here. Normally have a separate onboard battery that runs an XT20. There it is, and you get the extra lead to put on your battery if you need it. And then, yeah, there's your Retract controller itself. So you plug your flight battery, or not your flight battery, but your Retract battery in right there. You have a test button right here, which will put the gear up and down no matter what position your switch is in on your radio. Your radio actually doesn't even need to be powered on. This is actually really convenient when you're putting an airplane together at the field. You can slide the wings on, put everything there, hit the button, put the gear out, and then set it on its gear to put all your other components inside of it. I use that actually a lot on the Black Horse airplanes, that little test feature there that puts them in and out. So these are also lit up to tell you if the gear are out or down and locked. Pretty neat little controller though, it's worked really well. Any other questions? I know some people were asking about the landing gear earlier, so it's kind of, I got it here. This is not a retractable tail wheel. On the Corsair and the P47, it's retractable. On the Zero and this aircraft, they are not. These are fixed. This is the exact same landing gear tail wheel that's in the Zero. As you can see, that still has the suspension on it. So let's see, it's right here. It's a trailing link suspension, you can see. There you go. So you do have suspension on the tail wheel. It's hard mounted right here into the actual fuselage, and then you've got the pivot and the pull up here on top. So just like that. But once again, nice machined aluminum landing gear. Nice little tail wheel. Tail wheel feels to be rubber, but not soft. It is hard, but you have that suspension to actually eat up the bumps. Pretty dang cool. Last one is this one right here. It's the exact same as the other one, so I'm not even going to open it. Let's see. Last thing we need to do is just get a kind of glimpse of it. Let me move some stuff around for a second here. You're good. Stay right there. We're good. I'm not going to try and throw the wings on it. It's just too big, and trying to fit them the very first time live is no fun. So, but what I do want to give you an overall look of right now is a cowling flying on the floor. Forgot it was taped on there. I hit it with my foot in better news, so I didn't break it. Cowling. It may stay on there. It may not. We'll see. Oh, baby. There we go. And the rudder. So now you can really see how big the aircraft will actually end up being if I hold all this here. I mean, this is a big, big airplane. There you go. If you want to jump over to your other one, I can hold this for a second and you can give them a quick look around it. You know, I mean, I fit as much as I could. Unfortunately, putting the wings on right now in this little tight space with stuff everywhere, I don't want to tear up this airplane trying to do it. But here you go. One last quick look around it. And I hope you guys have super enjoyed today's broadcast. There you go. That gives you kind of a overall size of the aircraft. As my papa would say, in all its glory. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful paint job on this airplane. Right out of the box. I think a lot of guys are going to be super happy that get one of these. Like I said, we have a Corsair, a Zero, P47. There's an Antonov. I forgot the name of the Antonov one. It's the biplane one. It's actually a little bit bigger than this one. There's a BF 109, which we've done an unboxing live with here with a friend of the channel, Jerry. If you want to go back and see that one, it's even bigger than this airplane. I mean, the thing is this big around. It's humongous. And one of these days, you'll probably see it flown. So let's see. I'll slide that back out of the way. And let's open this up for a few more minutes for any questions, guys. But I think that kind of covers our Black Horse unboxing today of this aircraft. If you're interested, yeah, Lori, throw it up on the screen for a few seconds. Let's show them the website if you can. And like I said, any questions, this is a great time to ask them. Let's see.
Give me just a second on the website thing. But, someone was just asking about the listed measurements. I was scrolling down to grab those real quick.
Yeah, we'll pop them up on the screen. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Or is that impossible right now?
It's not impossible, but it's going to take me a second.
Well, let's ask a different question if we've got one while you're getting that set up. You got any other questions right now?
Nope.
No other questions? Like I said, this is a great time, guys. Also, I know a lot of the owners and product developers also are watching along with us. So it's always a great time if you got ideas like what's a crazy plane you want to see. I'm actually thinking about opening up a poll over on the Motion RC Facebook group. And, you know, everybody's always asking what the next free wing plane is. I tell you right now, if there's something cool and unique you want to see, balsa is the way to see it. We can make one of these airplanes a lot easier. That's a funky kind of different airplane than we can in a foam one. So if there's something you've always thought would be the coolest RC airplane ever, you know, tell us about it. You know, it's your input that lets us know what we want to make next. And in the balsa line, we get to kind of go a little bit away from it and do some different stuff. So I'm going to pop up the what's it called? There you go, the web page for a second, just so you can kind of get a look of it. There it is, all put together also. Now, eventually I'd love to put a few more pictures on here. That the way they happen is I got to put one together for us to get pictures of it better than that. But, excuse me. There it is, though. And yeah, if you're interested in this aircraft, they are available in stock currently. I will warn you, if you want one, I would probably get it pretty soon. These normally sell out pretty fast anytime we get one of these large balsa kits in. Definitely, if there's one you want, P47 or whatever, and it's not in stock, hit the notify me when back in stock, and don't sleep on them because they go really quick.
Well, here's the recommended electronics for both gas and electric, if anyone wants to catch a quick glimpse.
We do have the recommended products right there on the website. Chris has actually personally went through this one and kind of checked over it, so this one should be really good for you guys. And as you knew, Chris Wolf is in the background working on all of the balsa aircraft now. But yeah, this one's the GP60 with 160 amp ESC and 12S. I've put that on several different models now, and it really flies the heck out of these. What is this one, 89 inches, 87?
Let me get down to that part.
Yeah, it's the same size as the other two.
Wingspan is 90.5.
90.5, so it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, the Zero was, I think, 87, so it's right in that same scale, though.
Length is 72.3. Someone was asking, do you know what motor is going to be put on this one? Or, I mean, I'd say we'd do the
motor on this particular airplane is going to be the GP60 from Admiral with 160 amp ESC, 12S, and I forgot the prop, but it's right there in front of you on the recommended size. I want to think it's a 2110, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, though.
Prop is 2212.
2212. Yep, there you go. I was close. 20-something. There you go. Is the recommended prop. They're available right here at Motion RC. If you build it using those components that are right there on the website,
links are
it will
right on the website.
Fly absolutely fantastic on that. I've built several airplanes that way. I have also run this exact same aircraft setup on 10S. If you go back and watch the Black Horse P47 flights and the Zero flights from Top Gun 2 years ago, they're here on the channel. You can type in Black Horse Top Gun, you know, and you'll find them. Those airplanes were both flying on this exact same power system, but on 10S, and I was swinging scale 4-blade props, so they flew a lot slower, whereas this is going to have a whole lot more performance on that 2-bladed prop, and 12S, of course. Okay, any other questions while you got me today? We're coming up on the end of this, but I want to make sure we take a few minutes and answer any other questions you guys have.
Is there a 3-blade spinner option? I don't think so on the website.
No, not on the website. The only spinner option currently for this kit is the 2-blade. Not to say maybe you couldn't get one somewhere else.
That looks like about it so far.
All right. Well, cool, guys. It's been my pleasure today to come on and spend the afternoon with you. Once again, I'm Wes from MotionRC.com for anybody that might be new watching today's broadcast. And it's always my pleasure to get on here and talk to you about new aircraft that are exciting in the hobby and show you around some of our offerings. So like always, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at MotionRC.com. Keep a lookout. We've got a lot of really cool new products coming out. And this is always the best place to see the best RC airplanes, cars, trucks, boats, anything in the hobby first, right here at Motion RC on YouTube. And until the next time, it's been my absolute pleasure, guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll see you again later in the week. Bye, guys.